Hey guys, welcome back to a new Boom Beach video. I am here on my starting over account and we're gonna have some fun because today we have the speed serum, which is one of the best gumbo abilities to get inside of Boom Beach, and it is even better when you couple them with all warriors. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. We have all warriors loaded up. We have the speed serum loaded up. We have taunt loaded up, and let's try to take down some of these higher level players. Multiple people online right now, but luckily we were able to find someone. Okay, so speed serum is one of the best abilities, and I think it's pretty obvious why. Like, it boosts up your attack speed, your movement speed of your troops. It's really good when you want to get to the core with warriors, drop it down, your warriors will destroy that core in a few seconds. Like, it is insanely fast, but you have to watch out because speed serum does in fact work on the defenses around. So you can see this machine gun at the top going off, and should have shocked it earlier. Luckily it still gave you a view of speed serum on defenses. I think there are some defenses where it doesn't really matter, like flamethrowers, which are continuously on. I don't know if the damage then is just boosted because it's acting like it's firing faster even if it's not. I really have no clue how that all works, but I trust that there's a plan for it. So anyway, speed serum is one of the best abilities, and I think everyone would agree with that. I can't find a new opponent. Like, honestly, I would take speed serum over any of these other abilities but the flare is the pinnacle of gumbo abilities, the best gumbo ability. You can't really do anything without, I don't know why I just taunted. You can't really do anything without the flare. So we're boosting up our warriors. I wanted to see if it kind of like activated through smoke, and it does. And I think I knew that. I just wanted to double check before I did something stupid on a real player. So I have 2 more landing crafts to upgrade, which is crazy because these upgrades are freaking expensive at this level. So I'm very, very excited to get all of these guys done. Let's find a new opponent here. Pretty easy base, but you know, we're looking for players that have loot. This guy has way more loot. Got to put my ego aside for a bit because as much as I would love to destroy anyone on my map, you know, there are certain players that just aren't worth attacking. Even if I want a challenge, even if I could defeat them, there are certain players where I should just take the L, find a new opponent, because we'll get someone like this who has triple the amount of loot, and that is what you want at a lower level. It only matters about the loot. It doesn't really matter if you gain medals or lose medals. You just want loot. And pretty much every level for low level players is going to have a lot of loot. Or not a lot of loot, but the same amount of loot. So you would probably see the same amount of loot at 400 medals as you would at 700 medals. That's just kind of what I've noticed. I don't know if that's actually accurate. Loot probably increases a little bit between those, but I think overall it's not really much of a difference. It's all about finding someone you can defeat consistently, finding players that you can defeat consistently, which is a hard thing because a lot of these players have pretty strong bases. I mean, for me right now, this is really, really easy because 1, I have speed serum, but 2, you know, HQ 20 is where things start changing around, and you get your 8th landing craft, you get this new level of landing craft where you can hold 8 warriors in a boat. It's just really, really strong. But when you're lower level, you don't have this many warriors, it does matter who you come up against, and you want to be at a level range where the people around you are much higher than you, because players that are much higher than you are going to have the most amount of loot. I've never really had an issue after I unlocked smoke where everyone on my map was too hard for me and I wasn't able to defeat players. Granted, I do have a lot of Boom Beach experience with attacking players that are a lot higher than me in medals, and I know it might be harder for some of you guys, but I wouldn't be concerned if you're gaining too much medals. A lot of players come to me and they say, Christian, like, how do I drop medals? I want to get lower, I want to drop, I want lower players, And they have this idea that just because they drop medals, it means that they are going to get matched up against players that are a lot weaker than they are. And that's really not the case. Pretty much any medal count, you'll come across players that are a lot higher than you. And that's just what I've noticed. It's not worth dropping medals over. If you really need to defeat players for loot, and you can't really defeat players, I would suggest getting more offensive statues down, and you just want the bare minimum to defeat players, because then you want to load up on resource reward, which is really where all of your loot is going to come from. Your loot's not going to come from these players, solely from these players. Most of your loot is going to come from resource reward. It is by far the best way to level up your game, to push, just to make some serious Boom Beach progress. But if you're too high in medals, you might not be able to get as many resource reward statues down. However, the players that you get matched up against, if they're higher in level, they're going to be offering more loot. I know that I said earlier that the medal count, you'll see pretty much the same amount of loot, but just generally speaking, higher players in experience are going to have more loot, and that's just kind of a fact. Like, a level 65 is going to offer me more loot than a level 30. So to kind of summarize, if you're having issues defeating players, they're just too strong for you. 1, get down some offensive statues. 2, upgrade your warriors, upgrade your smoke. It is by far the best attack combination to defeat players that are much higher than you in medals. 3, don't try to drop. If you put your HQ on the base, on the beach, you're just going to waste a couple months at Boom Beach where you're just not going to be getting a lot of loot. You're not really going to be making much progress. So it's not worth it, in my opinion. Don't do that. Just grind it out, push it out. You might not always be able to have something upgrading, but that is fine, because if you're being active, being persistent, then eventually you'll get those upgrades done, like me on this account. And I know I say a lot of things and it's hard to take what I say seriously, but just remember where I was on this account 2 years ago. I was a level 30, and all of that progress is documented, literally all of it. I've had no life statues, I've had no ice statues. Everything is in a video, so I know what Boom Beach progression looks like, and I know this account has taken me a while to upgrade, and that's mainly because we got HQ 25, and that always takes main priority. But what I'm saying still stands. You need to get resource reward, you need to get offensive statues, and just attack as many players as you can defeat, and you'll make progress. If you're having issues, go watch my videos in my starting over series when I'm literally like level 35 and attacking level 50s and 55s and defeating them. And that's what you want to get to. But yeah, just be persistent. You'll make progress. Don't worry about it. It's kind of nice for me because I'm over that hump, I feel like. Now it's just kind of a consistency grind. But I'm over that hump where there are players on my map that I'm not able to defeat. And that was definitely a major issue for me. Like, I came up against a lot of players that I wasn't able to defeat inside of Boom Beach on this account. And that's just part of the game, you can't really win them all. Much as it would be nice to, there are going to be players that you just aren't able to defeat, and that's fine. That's completely fine. Wait a day, find a new opponent. Hopefully the next day opponent is easier. One thing I also realize helps is instant training, because then you can boost up once and clear your entire map. It's really nice. So if you can't afford it, go shovel that money out to Boom Beach. But if you can't afford it, like, completely understand. You're not the only one. I've maxed out my main account multiple times across multiple updates before we ever got instant training. Like, it is 100% possible to max out your base without the extra builder, max out your base without instant training. It just makes it easier. But it is still very possible to get there without boosting up your resource reward, without without buying instant training. So just keep that in mind. Like, it is nice, but you don't have to have it in order to max out your base. A lot of stuff was said, and I feel like this kind of encompasses my starting over series, because my starting over series was meant for you guys as kind of a tutorial series where I just get into the game and teach you everything I know about Boom Beach. I was just seeing if I could destroy that. I mean, hopefully I have taught a lot of people through this series, and that's kind of my hope for it, that it will continue to as well, because we're closing off this low level story. You know, I said as soon as I upgrade my HQ one more time, I get myself some of the Bombardiers. We are no longer a low level. We are now a mid level. And we're closing off the low level story very, very soon. I have a couple levels to go, but with my landing crafts all getting super close to being maxed out, I'm sitting in a very good place to kind of wrap this story up. And here we go. Here is our 7th landing craft going to level 20, which is the massive, massive level for me. We'll do that, and let's do another big upgrade here. So I did my Zookas, I did my warriors, I did my tanks. What should we do? You know, barrages always good, critters always good, medkits always good. However, I really feel like we should probably start upgrading a different troop. Like, heavies would be nice to have maxed out, in my opinion, because I do like a smoky hookah combination sometimes. But you know what? Whatever level these are, 19, those are good enough, I feel like. So let's just do something that's the most expensive. Let's just do critters. You know, it's kind of like the landing craft upgrade. You just have to be consistent. I really don't want to do that dive. We'll just do the small one. You just have to be consistent. You just have to keep upgrading stuff, and eventually you'll make progress. We'll just do that flamethrower. So we're over halfway done with level 51. Then we have all of level 52, and then we can do our next HQ upgrade and get the Bombardiers. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I loved the Warriors and Speed Serum. Loved it, and I hope I'll be able to do another video with it. But yeah, that's it for today. Bye, guys.